Types of anarchists. But anarchists can't be expected to agree on everything. Historically, these differences have led to distinct tendencies in anarchist theory and practice. Individualist anarchists hope for a future society in which free individuals do their duty and share resources according to the dictates of abstract justice. Generally speaking, individualists are mere philosophers rather than revolutionary activists. They are civil libertarians who want to reform the system to make it work fairly. They were prevalent in the past century, but are still seen in countercultural anarchist formations, middle-class philosophers, or right-wing libertarians. Mutualists are anarchists associated with the ideas of 19th century anarchist philosopher Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, who based his future economy on a pattern of individuals in small groups possessing but not owning their own means of production, and bound by contracts of mutual exchange and mutual credit instead of money, which would ensure to each individual the product of his own labor. This type of anarchism appears when individualists put their ideas in practice and merely wish to reform capitalism and make it cooperative. This is also where the right-wing libertarians and advocates of a minimized role for the state get the ideas. Marx attacked Proudhon as an idealist and utopian philosopher for the anarchist concept of mutual aid. Collectivists are anarchists based directly on the ideas of Michael Bakunin, the Russian anarchist, the best-known advocate to the general public of anarchist theory. Bakunin's collectivist form of anarchism replaced Proudhon's insistence on individual possession with the idea of socialist possession by voluntary institutions, and the right to the enjoyment of the individual product of their labor, or its equivalent, still assured to the individual worker. This type of anarchism involves a direct threat to the class system and the capitalist state, and is the view that society can only be reconstructed when the working class seizes control of the economy by a social revolution, destroys the state apparatus, and reorganizes production on the basis of common ownership and control by associations of working people. This form of anarchism is ideologically the basis of anarchist syndicalism or revolutionary labor unionism. Anarcho-syndicalists are anarchists who are active in the labor and working class movements. Anarchist syndicalism is a form of anarchism for class-conscious workers and peasants, for militants and activists in the labor movement, for libertarian socialists who want equality as well as liberty. As pointed out, this philosophy is based heavily on the ideas of Bakunin, though its organizing techniques stem from the French and Spanish CNT trade union movements called syndicates, where anarchists were heavily involved. This is the type of anarchism that influenced the IWW in North America, and which expressed the view that the capitalist state must be toppled by a revolutionary form of economic warfare called the general strike, and that the economy must be reorganized and based on industrial unions, which would be under the council of the working class. All political matters would be handled by either an industrial union congress, while workplace matters would go to a factory committee, elected by the workers themselves and under their direct control. This type of anarchism has great potential for organizing an anarchist working class movement in North America if it raises contemporary issues like the shortened work week, factory councils, the current depression, and a fight back against the boss's offenses of the last 20 years against the working class worldwide. Anarchist communists are revolutionary anarchists who believe in the philosophy of class struggle and anti-capitalism and all forms of oppression. Contrary to anarchist syndicalism, it does not limit itself to workplace organizing. The philosophy is based on the theories of Peter Kropotkin, another Russian anarchist. Kropotkin and his fellow anarchist communists not only envisaged the commune and workers' councils as the proper guardians of production, they also attacked the wage system in all its forms and revived the ideas of libertarian communism. This type of anarchism is known as libertarian socialism also, and it includes mass socialists who are also opposed to the state, dictatorship, and party rule, though they are not anarchists. Since the 1870s, the principles of anarchist communism have been accepted by most anarchist organizations favoring revolution. This anarchist or libertarian communism must of course not be confused with the much better known communism of the Marxist-Leninists, the communism which is based on state ownership of the economy and control of both production and distribution, and also on party dictatorship. That form of authoritarian communist society is based on oppression and slavery to the state, while we favor a free, voluntary communism of shared resources. Libertarian communism is not Bolshevism and has no connection with or support for Lenin, Stalin, Trotsky, or Mao Zedong. It is not state or private control over the essentials of life we seek, and we oppose all forms of dictatorship. Anarchist communists seek to foster the growth of a new society in which freedom to develop as one sees it, and it is integrated to the fullest extent with social responsibility to others. Autonomists are a new tendency in the anarchist movement. This tendency arose in the mid-1980s in Germany and later spread to the other countries in Europe and North America. Students, intellectuals, and disaffected workers made up this tendency originally, but there is also anarchists who call themselves autonomists, to imply that they are not linked with a federation or are not doctrine or purist. Like liberating socialism, they seem to draw their ideology on both Marxism and some tenets of anarchist philosophy, like anarchist communism, but they tend to be more independent and very meticulous about explaining their different identity.